Pay you back tomorrow for seconds used today, huh? Mr. Chairman, well, here we are, talking about the most important issue of the year, maybe more than this year, as this issue comes to a head. I'm pleased to co-sponsor this effort to address the drought that's now affecting much of the American West, and under which California has seen entire towns run out of water, lost thousands of jobs, and fallowed hundreds of thousands of acres of the most productive farmland in the world. Sure, the weather is largely to blame, but outdated science and excessive environmental restrictions have contributed greatly to the severity of the man-made portion of this crisis. Even in my Northern California district, the source of much of the state's usable water supply and home to its two largest reservoirs, has seen urban access to water rationed and agricultural users in some cases allotted zero water from the federal Central Valley Project. Prior generations weathered droughts thanks to investment in water infrastructure, but excessive environmental hurdles have prevented the state from building any major facilities since the 70s. These same facilities in the past, where we had a vision to do so, have made possible the ability to release water and have it available for environmental purposes as well as other human needs. Without them, we couldn't even be talking about releasing fish water at this point. The House acted twice last session to address this crisis, passing both a comprehensive long-term bill and an emergency short-term bill. Unfortunately, neither bill was enacted. The bill under consideration by this committee is a balanced response developed by extensive bicameral bipartisan negotiation that respects the state's water rights system, stores more water during winter storms, improves implementation of the Endangered Species Act, and moves forward on new water storage projects. From my district's perspective, maintaining senior area of origin water rights is not only paramount, but the only ethical course of action. Those who live near where water originates should always have access to it. Title V of the measure addresses solely this topic. Perhaps those on the other side of the aisle have failed to read the bill thoroughly. Contrary to opponents' claims, the bill carefully maintains area of origin water rights, respects state water law, and improves water access for the entire state without favoring one region over another. The water wars some have spoken of, they were won by environmentalists a long time ago, when they diverted water from our homes and farms to misguided, unproven habitat efforts. By allowing increased storage of water when rivers run high during winter storms, this bill provides more water to all Californians without negatively impacting environmental or delta salinity requirements. The bill also improves and modernizes the implementation of the Endangered Species Act to change a status quo that benefits neither humans nor fish while keeping the ESA intact. Believe me, I would like to revise portions of the ESA, but that doesn't happen in this bill. Despite decades of lawsuits focused solely on increased diversion of water for environmental purposes, listed fish species have not fully recovered by these efforts. This measure broadens the factors wildlife agencies must consider to include improved population monitoring and the impacts of invasive non-native species, which the National Marine Fisheries Service and California Department of Fish and Wildlife have found that consume 90%, these predators consume 90% of listed winter-run salmon before they even reach the delta. Finally, this bill advances 5 new surface water storage facilities, which combined would provide 80% of the water the state hopes to save through mandatory rationing. For example, the State Department of Water Resources has determined that if Site's reservoir were already in place, California would have another 900,000 acre-feet of water available during this drought. That's enough water for over 7.2 million Californians at half an acre-foot per home. A strong majority of Californians supported funding such facilities, and it's time we make good on that promise. By allowing early repayment of water service contracts, the bill generates hundreds of millions of dollars toward storage projects that will help prevent crises like this in the future. Mr. Chairman, California and the nation cannot wait any longer. The solution to this crisis is not billions in borrowed dollars or increased restrictions for environmental purposes, but real common sense solutions that deliver more water to California and Western homes and farms this year and build an infrastructure to do so in future years. At the height of the drought that we're suffering, the people of the West and California are going to be watching what we do to see if we're going to really come up with solutions or just more stalling in order to satisfy an environmental fantasy. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.